Hello, and welcome back to the Movie Marathon Podcast, a place where we watch movies and then we talk about them. We are not experts. Sometimes we're not even fans. And for some of the films we're talking about today, I definitely am a fan, and I definitely am not a fan of some. Because today we are talking about the somewhat beloved Scary Movie franchise. Films 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now Scary Movie again, which for our purposes of ease, we'll just call Scary Movie 6, the just released version. But so today we're talking about the entire Scary Movie franchise. We'll rank them as we know them, as we've seen them. And just to let you know, as your host, my name is Gabriel. I am your leading ghost face today, but there's always two ghost faces. So I'm also here with my co-host, Dixon. And before we get into things today, Dixon, could you just reintroduce yourself and tell us what your general relationship is with the Scary Movie franchise?
My general relationship with the Scary Movie franchise is there were a few that I would quote pretty religiously when I was maybe like middle school with my cousins. We had a bunch of inside jokes with I think it was Scary Movie 3 that every time we saw each other for years after that, we would just we'd basically just be quoting the entire movie to each other.
Yeah.
So I think I have mixed, like I had seen most of them during this rewatch, except for 5. 5 is I watched it for the first time. But yeah, I think they were very very big nostalgia trips for me, which I wasn't expecting. I was kind of just like, oh, I'm just gonna remember all of these jokes, and
There's so many
jokes. But and I'm sure we'll get into this as we go on to it. I'm very glad, and we saw the 6 together when it came out recently, and we said it as soon as we walked out of the theater. I'm so glad that we did a Scream rewatch before seeing these movies.
Yes.
Because
like you have to do them together.
Yeah, absolutely. At least just kind of like a quick recap of the Scream movies, just to have an idea of what's going on. Because there was even some stuff in, like 1, 2, and even 3 that I didn't pick up on because I hadn't watched some of the Scream movies, like when they came out initially. So it was fun to like do those movies first, get the do the Scream rewatch, and then go into the Scary movies, because I appreciated them a little bit more, and I appreciated the jokes that they were trying to pull based off of the horror movies, specifically the Scream movies, but all of the horror movies that they pulled from. And I kind of forgot how much they really went into the horror movies that were taking place at the time. Like, it was very cool to kind of, they almost felt like time capsules for what was going on in the world at the time that the movies came out, which was really cool to kind of go back and be like, oh, I forgot. How deep do you want me to go into it?
Go a little bit. Yeah, go.
The one that really did it for me was in Scary Movie 2, when they were in the house and I forget what started it, or they heard like a squeak, and then a basketball comes out of the dark, and they started doing it. And I forgot about that. It was a Nike.
Oh, the Nike. Oh, same thing. The Nike commercial. Yeah, it came up to me immediately. It was like, it was so good.
And they're all dribbling and passing it to each other.
Same
like
here.
That I
had memory hold that.
Never would have remembered that had I not seen this movie. Like, it was just, they did such a good job of finding things that everybody knew what they were, but you kind of completely forgot about them. And now going back and watching these movies, all those memories come back up. Yeah. So it was very cool. I enjoyed these movies. I wanted to, especially in this rewatch, I thought I was going to remember them a little bit more and be a little bit more like, oh my God, that was hilarious. That was really funny. And to an extent that happened, but not for everything. Like, there were some scenes that I remember just being like laugh out loud, hysterical. Like, I was belly laughing at them when I was younger watching these movies. And now I was kind of like, okay, yeah, that was fine.
You have to think too, the prime of some of these movies, we were 13, 10, we were kids. So of course we're going to think the physical comedy is hilarious, but there is a lot of stuff culturally nostalgia driven partially, but a lot of stuff is really funny still. And a lot of stuff is dated, but still it doesn't feel outlandish because it's in a movie that already was trying to be outlandish at the time. But I feel exactly the same way as you do for about the scary movies. I'll get into, I guess, deeper if I have them on each movie, but same thing. I saw 1 through 4. 4 I remember the least of the ones that I've seen, so I either saw it not all at once or just in pieces, whatever it is. 5 I hadn't seen.
Mm.
And yeah, 6 we saw together, which is always fun.
Always.
So yeah, I overall enjoy this franchise. I want to talk a little bit about spoofs, and we will in about a minute when we just get into the rules of the type of ranking we're going to do today. I just want to talk a little bit about them in general. But yeah, I think if you're ready, I'm ready. Do you want to get into the rules and rankings?
Let's do it, baby.
Take my strong hand.
Oh, my other hand isn't strong enough. You take my little hand.
No! Take my strong hand.
So before we get into the rankings of our podcast today, I just want to go over the history a little bit and say that Scary Movie didn't come out of nowhere. The history of spoofs in film have a really strong lineage. I want to look at how we got from there to here. So Mel Brooks really pioneered the modern parody film. Blazing Saddles, 74. Young Frankenstein that same year. Spaceballs. So he kind of did that whole series of deconstructing films and spoofing them. Then Airplane comes out, directed by David Zucker in 1980, and he kind of did the whole template of breaking the fourth wall. Everything became absurdist, and then that followed with the Naked Gun series, both with Leslie Nielsen. And he kind of carried the torch in the 80s and 90s. And then he did also Spy Hard in 96 with guys named Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer. All these people come in later, Zucker as well, and they all become attached to the Scary Movie series. So the Scary Movie, an original film, came out in 2000, became a huge cultural moment, as Dix and I were saying at the top of the podcast. And we'll get into the specifics of the films in a bit, but obviously spoofed slashers, specifically Scream, and a few others, was a huge success. And then what followed was interesting. Scary Movie sequels, and also Friedberg and Seltzer's date movie, epic movie, disaster movie, Meet the Spartans, and a whole cottage of other spoof movies in between.
My God.
So the Wayans Brothers even did a Haunted House and Haunted House 2. So it is really a massive... They did something else too. One of the Wayans did dance movie or dance flick. So there's a whole bunch that I can't even get into. But let's say about 15 spoof movies that spawned post-Scary Movie. And then you have maybe the 15 preceding. Call it 30 notable spoof movies.
It's insane that there's that many movies.
It's crazy.
It's funny, though, that you mentioned, was it a haunted movie? House?
Haunted House?
Was that the Paranormal Activity one?
Yeah, which is interesting because 5 is kind of like that too. Well, we have a note about that. I have a note about that for 5.
I didn't like, as I was watching it, I was like, wait, I feel like they did this. Because I remember the one scene in the haunted one where he brings his cousin into the house.
I've never seen it.
Oh my God. There's this one scene. He brings his cousin, and his cousin's like right out of jail. Like he's still wearing like the full like prison outfit. He brings a whole bunch of dudes, and he's real tough. He's like, I don't give a shit about no ghosts and like all this. He walks into the house, and I think it's Marlon Wayans is the videographer. Like he's the guy that the dad has the camera and everything.
Yeah.
And he says something to the cousin, and the cousin turns, like, is walking away from him. And he turns around and just goes, I don't give a fuck. It's like the funniest delivery.
I could see the delivery ready. I could see it.
It was so funny. But I was watching 5, and I'm like, wait a minute. I've seen a different, like, was this a past life?
There's something in the history about that, which is interesting. You'll like that.
All right, we'll get there then. We'll get there.
Yeah. So that's the basic just background of spoofs in general. And the reason I really listed here is because of the cultural touchstone that Scary Movie was. We had these isolated series. You had your Mel Brooks kind of lane. You had your David Zucker, Airplane, Naked Gun lane, and Leslie Nielsen just in general. And then you'll see that Leslie Nielsen, David Zucker, the other guys that I mentioned all have a part in Scary Movie. So that's kind of like you look at a Venn diagram, they're right in the middle part. So it's just myself and Dixon today for you listeners. We don't have a third guest or any other guests like we like to do for our ranking episodes. Get a nice mix of opinions here. So we're going to do a little bit of a different style for rankings for our own show. We're just going to roll off our lists right now, top to bottom. We'll do least favorite. Let's do least favorite to favorite for a little suspense in the moment. Dixon will go first, then I'll go. And then, assuming our lists match up more or less, then we'll kind of just go best to worst down the list, keep our energy for the good stuff, and we'll talk about our favorite and least favorite scary movies.
What's up? What's up?
Least to best scary movies. What do you got?
So my least favorite scary movie is Scary Movie 5.
Mm-hmm.
From there, this was a tough one for me. This the second from the bottom.
Bad.
Second
Yeah.
bad. I would probably say this movie. I enjoyed this movie, but I would say this movie. Scary Movie 6, what we're calling it.
Yeah.
I would then go Scary Movie 4. Then I'm probably going 1, 2, and then 3.
Okay. Now,
So my order is
give me the list again. Yeah.
5,
Mm-hmm.
6,
Mm-hmm.
4,
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3.
1, that's easy. 2, 3.
That's an
Okay.
order. That is my order.
Very, very similar to mine. Okay.
Nice.
The worst one is 5.
Yeah.
Are none. Then I would probably go 4 is second worst.
Okay.
Then I'll go 6, most recent.
Interesting.
So we're going to flip-flop for those two. So we'll figure that out as we go.
Yeah.
Then I'd put 1 in the same exact spot as you. And now I've gone back and forth with this a lot because I also have and I rewatched it. When I rewatched it, I felt this too and realized it more. I have a lot of nostalgia for 2. 3, I laugh a lot at, but I think 2 has the edge for me. When I rewatched this movie, it was like the Nike moment. So much came back to me, and I think I just have a little more love for it overall. So I'm going to go 3, 2.
Interesting. I was torn between those two, but I think I'm the other way. I think I have more nostalgia for 3 than I do for 2.
I'll be honest, looking at our lists, I would say that majority of the people are going to be somewhere the same or probably right around what we are. It's kind of, I don't want to say this is indisputable. You could put 1 as number 1 as your favorite.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people liked 6, but I don't think it's going to be at the top. But I think these are pretty solid lists. And so what we'll do, again, mine was least to best 5, 4, 6, 1, 3, 2. So what do you want to do first, 3 or 2?
Let's do 2.
2.
Let's do 2.
All righty. Give me 1 secundo.
No,
Okay.
You're good.
Scary Movie 2, 2001's Scary Movie 2. So, Dixon, what are your first experiences, if you remember them, with Scary Movie 2? We would have been 11.
I don't really remember the first time I watched it, but I feel like I would have watched it with a group of people. Like it would have been one of those things where we were like trying to hide it.
Yeah. Like,
from our parents.
We got it. Yeah.
Like, we got the movie. We got to go watch it right now. Like they're going to be back in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I remember enjoying it, but definitely, again, not really understanding as many of the references as I would have liked. But one of the references that I did really get, and I appreciated very much so, was basically the whole idea behind the house and the haunting and that movie, like the references they were making to the Haunting movie. I watched that. I can't even tell you how many, like a 20 to 30 times when it was like Yeah, it was like a repeat on HBO for a while.
I'm familiar with it too.
Every time it came on, I would watch it, and I haven't watched it in years.
That was my
So
next question, because I
after,
haven't seen it probably since the last time. I don't know, since like I was originally watching Scary Movie 2.
yeah,
It's been a long time.
I hadn't watched it, and I was like, okay, I need to go back because I remembered it, but I didn't really remember it. And then as soon as I started watching it, I saw Owen Wilson, and I was like, oh yeah,
Yes,
that's right.
yes,
He gets
yes.
decapitated. Yes.
I was looking at the Wikipedia and I was like, oh my God, this cast is absurd.
It's a crazy cast. Owen Wilson, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Liam Neeson.
It's insane.
Yeah, wild cast. But yeah, I remember I remember that, like, I was getting those references in Scary Movie 2, and then some of the other ones I was kind of like, oh, I don't really know what they're talking about, because they were relatively, when it came out, I think it was relatively mature for us at the time.
Dude, there's so much male genitalia in this movie.
So much.
You don't see like a lot of dicks in media, like other than like White Lotus or other random shows.
Mhm.
These movies talk about coming out 2001, 2000. The first two, there's dicks all over them. It's
All
crazy.
over it.
It's crazy. Which I guess I was wondering if that's kind of like a way of overexposing men, where in the same way horror movies overexpose women. So I was wondering if that was like a really like high art take of Scary Movie, but I'm not sure if it goes that deep. But the first two are, dare I say, egregious. It was crazy.
Yeah. I forgot too. Like, I remember
Yeah,
there
in the
being dicks,
rewatch.
but not that many, and like not
Yeah.
that in your face about it too.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of them being like, well, they over sexualize women, so we're gonna do it with guys, and like, if you can show boobs, we're gonna show some dick in this movie.
Yeah, right. And maybe it is that deep, but I also noticed on the rewatch, I was like, damn, there's a lot of shit in here. There's a lot.
Some of them are a little rough. There's some jokes and some like some stuff that they do that you're like, oh, they're probably not gonna get away with a lot of this in this new movie.
They don't do it as hard, which is, they can't. But
Yeah.
they still keep the characters consistent, which I always appreciate.
Yeah.
So Scary Movie 2 came out July 4th, 2001, as we were saying. Same director as the first one, Keenan Ivory Wayans. Everyone's back. Significantly bigger budget. Made 141 million worldwide. 13%, a cool 13% on Rotten Tomatoes.
And I gotta look up the audience score. 13. I mean, listen, I'm not saying
The
that
audience
these
score is going to
movies-
be higher.
I'm sure it is, but like, and I don't think these movies need to be crazy high scores. Like, I'm not expecting a Scary Movie to be like a 90 on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, but like 17's a little rough.
13. I have
Or
it.
13.
I have it noted. Just in general, I have all the Rotten Tomatoes noted because it is interesting which ones, if you rank it on like a Scary Movie scale, of which ones are really low and which ones are higher. So it is interesting. But 2 is at the top of both our lists. So this one is not as accurate. What is the popcorn meter or audience meter?
52.
Okay, that's better.
That makes sense.
That's better.
52 makes sense to me.
That's better. So not too much to talk about in the production of all of these movies, but obviously we want to talk about what they reference and a little bit of the fun stuff. So one really interesting production thing, Marlon Brando was originally cast in this film. He was playing Father McFeely, James Woods' role, as the priest in like the Exorcist type of thing. Could you imagine?
Marlon Brando?
Could you fucking imagine Brando in this movie?
Do you think that they wanted to do some like Godfather references with him as the priest? Like, maybe was that the intention behind wanting him to play that
I
role?
have no idea if he would have played ball with anything, dude. So he did one day of filming before an illness, and I'm saying quotes. I don't know. It just seems convenient. He was very hard to work with at the time, but all I could find was illness forced him to leave the production, and then James Wood replaced him. And James Woods was paid $1 million for 4 days of work. And just before that, Charlton Heston had turned down the role in between Brando, and they were also considering Bill Clinton, who had a year left, who had just left office.
Oh my God. Those are the most wild people that they could have had for that role.
So yeah,
Clinton would have been hilarious.
Yeah, could just come out. It would have been wild. So James Woods, Bill Clinton, Charlton Heston, and Marlon Brando. all in a nice little group.
Imagine the four of them
Can you fucking imagine?
fighting over that role. It's like, no, it's got to be me.
Yeah.
I think I think if they would have gone with Marlon Brando, if he would have actually filmed all the scenes, it would have been a missed opportunity if they didn't do some sort of Godfather reference, like as
They probably
a
would have done
priest, you know?
something. Yeah. Yeah. They couldn't resist in the spoof film.
Yeah, they would have had to. But I did like that opening scene with James Woods with the Exorcist. Like that was a pretty funny opening scene.
Yeah.
When he's in the bathroom, he's like, the power of Christ. He's just taking a shit.
Yeah, it was good. So we were talking a little about what this film is about. Oh, and I didn't talk about why I'm ranking this number one. So let me talk about these films, and then I'll get there because you talked a little about your first experience. But let me get this in here because The Haunting is part of nostalgia, and that's ultimately why it's here for nostalgia. So they looked at 130 horror films in research for this movie. I can't imagine the Wayans brothers watching 130 movies back to back, but it's kind of funny to think about because it is a really deep, it's a hard process to write these movies. Think about what you want about them. There is a level of research and detail in trying to weave it all together. So yeah, it's a lot.
I was going to say, it's like, not only do you have to watch these movies, you have to understand what makes them enjoyable for horror fans. And then you also have to think about how you can parody them in a way that's funny, but also like truthful.
Right, make it funny and make it funny.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's got to be funny, but it's also got to play into the movie itself and like what fans either enjoy about it or think it's ridiculous. Like, I feel like a lot of the jokes are just like, find something and just make it like absolutely insane, or just like blow it out of proportion. So it's a balance. And there's a lot of movies that come out. Like, just doing this podcast, I'm realizing like, oh, there's a lot of movies that are out that I want to go see, and I just don't like know if I'm going to be able to see them. So to be very specific about like, all right, this one genre, we're going to find a bunch of movies to make fun of in the spoof movie. That's definitely a lot of work. And then they actually have to go and film the movie, and they have to do it within a relatively quick time frame because it's got to be relevant. Like if this movie came out 2 years from now, it wouldn't be as funny.
Yeah, it has to be quick.
And so it's a lot of work.
I agree with everything you just said. And it also, these movies are best when they're maintaining their characters, keeping your cast. Anna Faris, Regina Hall, obviously the top of that level. But when they keep them around, no matter what happens to them, that's a lot for these films. And you see why 5 doesn't succeed by kind of being its own thing, its own spin-off, whatever you want to call it. So this film references The Haunting from 1999, Stigmata, The Exorcist, Rocky Horror Picture Show, The Amityville Horror, Poltergeist, House on Haunted Hill, along with other random horror movies, the Nike commercial, other random stuff. Also, Dude, Where's My Car, Hannibal, Hollow Man, and Charlie's Angels. So pivots around, and it kind of is the beginning of throwing a lot of stuff at you. 3 does even more, but it starts to go way beyond. Where 1, and we'll get into that, is more of just like a straight Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer ripoff. Oh, so let me tell you about why I like this movie.
Let's do it.
So it's nostalgia driven. When I rewatched it, like we were saying, I had forgotten how much I used to enjoy it as a kid. And it's funny to say as a kid because it's very, very graphic. Best way to describe it. So I remember watching it all the time with my neighbors, my brother and my neighbors. We would like go in the basement and like put it on. We had a bunch of inside jokes around the film. And that's pretty much it. And when I was telling people about this podcast, it didn't necessarily influence my ranking, but 2 was the one that came up the most. And interestingly enough, The Hand. Take my strong hand. That comes up the most. It's amazing how much people love that role. So yeah, I love Scary Movie 2. It's crude, it's crazy, it's absurd, but it's an improvement on 1, I think, despite all that. Chris Elliott is my favorite part as Hanson, and David Cross is great. Tim Curry is a ridiculous ad, so good in this. Yeah, they do a lot of great stuff. The David Cross BJ scene, disgusting.
Ridiculous.
But I love the ghost guns and goggles. I forgot all about that. That was so good.
When it's like you can see bodily fluids and everyone's looking at him because what do I have something on my face?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, there's so many ridiculous references. Harry Pothead, the Final Destination stuff. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, when he's making the mashed potatoes with the hand, it's so gross. The bed scenes with the it clown and Ray rapes him. The Regina Hall dirty talk. That the clown in the bed was the scene. I was like, oh, I forgot all about this. And then Shorty has the giant joint. It's so absurd. So absurd.
Yeah, they definitely upped the ante from 1 on like the ridiculousness factor of this movie. Like they just took it to the next level. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and they, like you're saying, that you could definitely tell that they were starting to really push the envelope on how much they could squeeze into a movie. And these are all relatively short too, which is kind of crazy for how much they get in, how many different references that they make, and how many different movies they bring up. The fact that they're able to do that in such a short period of time it's just a testament to like they are able to they pull in so much information, they give it to you right away. It's not like there's no slow build on anything.
Yeah.
It's here's the joke, on to the next one. Let's go.
It's constant. You want to go on to your favorite? You feel good?
We'll do 3.
Let's do it. Scary Movie 3, 2003. How appropriate. So I love Scary Movie 3. Kind of the same as 2. I have a lot of nostalgia for it, but I was slightly older for 3. We're 13. I remember seeing it with my friends in theaters. The other ones I would have seen more, like we said, like Secret in Basements. This one I saw in theaters. It's not as crude as the other ones. It still is, but it's not as bad. But I love 3. Love 3. It's hilarious. And it's funny because it's the one that I actually have rewatched the most. I haven't rewatched 1 or 2 as an adult, as much older in life. 3 I used to watch with Eric and Anthony. Maybe you were there too in the apartment,
Oh yeah.
And we the one we just watched scenes from. So yeah, I love 3. And me and Lauren and I even rewatched it around Halloween because she hates horror movies. I was like, what about Scary Movie? So we rewatched 3, I think maybe like 2 years ago. So I was a little more I'm the most familiar with it and could easily flip between 2 and 3 in my favorites. How about you?
Yeah, it's absolutely the one I know the most for sure.
Yeah,
I've definitely watched that one the most out of all of them. I appreciated a couple of things. There were a few like subtle jokes that weren't really like references to other movies that they were just hilarious to me. The scene where it's towards the end of the movie where they're coming out of the basement to go and like find the aliens. They're all holding shovels. And Anthony Anderson's like, all right, let's go. Click, click. And he just clicks it. It's like a shotgun shell comes out.
It's so funny.
I love those little jokes that are they just go over your head if you don't like think about them. They're just super, super quick. And having Leslie Nielsen as the president was just perfect because like you said, these movies kind of are paying homage to Airplane and Naked Guns and all those those movies that came before them. So to have him in it was just so perfect.
It's very full circle.
It's full circle. I do also kind of feel like he does only really have one character. It's like somebody in a position of some kind of power that really has no idea what they're doing. That's basically his role. So they were like, we're going to make you the president of the United States in this one.
Yeah.
But he was amazing. The scene where he's talking to the aliens, you're like, you should see how we pee. And he goes, so we're not so different after all.
I love that scene. And in general, that scene is so funny when they say, this is how we say hello. They're choking them. I crack up every time. And just the aliens look so cheesy on purpose.
They're just like
also done so well.
They're so stereotypical aliens. And the scene with Jeremy Piven is the newscaster when he's like, we have some footage of the aliens. And it's like, a dog, like
They're
one dog
partying.
humping another, and it's just an alien, like it's just walking by as if nothing's
Yeah.
happening. So good.
The
Just
guys are
like
puking, and he's just like,
the frat party.
yeah, it's so
truly
so,
disturbing scenes.
so funny. I love that.
Yeah, it's just there were so many parts of this that they just stuck with me like throughout the rest of my life. I think the Anthony Anderson and Kevin Hart duo, their combination,
They're great.
like they just play off each other so well. I love that they just get into these like almost philosophical kind of like conversations. Like I think one of them was how do you
About
wake up?
death.
Yeah, it's like you don't go to bed dead. Like you can wake up dead, but you don't go to bed dead. And then there's a
So
rat,
funny.
a mouse if it's inside, or if it's not, then it's a mouse if it's outside. They were so funny. And I did not realize at the time, like when I went back to this movie, I was like, oh, Kevin Hart's in this movie.
Yeah,
Like
the cast is ridiculous. Plus all the rappers.
oh my God, everybody in that scene. Macy Gray.
The rap battle,
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah. That was I think that's probably why. I think same thing. 3 and 2 were very close for me, but I have a little bit more nostalgia for 3, and I think I appreciated that there was a little bit less potty humor in it, even though there was still a decent amount.
Yeah.
But I think that plus just having some of the lines just stick with me for, to this day. I think that's what put 3 over the edge for me.
Well, a lot of people must agree because 36% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Nice.
And a lot of people thought it was an improvement over 2. And David Zucker took over as director. First film without the Wayans brothers in the series. And so their departure, you could talk about it in 3 or 2. I wanted to save it for here because, they left on 3. Essentially, it was about creative stuff and money. They just weren't getting along with the Weinsteins, and the Weinsteins were trying to pay them essentially the same rate as they were getting in number 1. So they were working on White Chicks at the same time. They tried to use that to even get more money. They wouldn't budge. So they walked away, did White Chicks, and they used the original pitch as the basis for the film, the Wayans brothers, without their involvement eventually. But what's interesting is that they ended up hiring the original spoof writers that were also on the first one with the Wayans brothers, which is also a whole other thing. But Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer come back. They write a script. Scary Movie 3, Episode 1, Lord of the Brooms. That was the original title and script for this movie.
Oh my God.
Spoofing Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. And then David Zucker comes on, rejects it. And they bring in Craig Mazin and Pat Proft. And Craig Mazin, I don't know if you remember him. He created Chernobyl and The Last of Us. So he also wrote Scary Movie 3. And I think he wrote 4 too, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
So very interesting, very different genre. At one point, Kevin Smith was involved as a co-writer. He left the project. We nearly got a Kevin Smith Scary Movie 3. So this one probably has the most interesting production history overall. 1 also because it launched it, but overall 1 and 3, I think have the most interesting production. And like we went into a lot of the cast and cameos, also notable. George Carlin as the architect. I forgot that he was in it. Then I was rewatching. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Just like Pootie Tang.
Just like Pootie Tang. Simon Cowell, Daryl Hammond, Jenny McCarthy, Pamela Anderson, Queen Latifah, Denise Richards. So I am probably even forgetting people because it's so full of everyone.
It is a pretty wild cast.
Also love the Michael Jackson scene. That was like, I feel like the biggest joke on Michael Jackson for me at the time and very influential on like how I viewed him.
Yes.
It was huge.
1,000%. Oh my God. This came out, would you say 2003? This came out?
2003.
I'm wondering so he passed away in
2009. Yeah. Which we found out at your house.
Oh, I will never forget that. That's like a where were you moment for me. And I know exactly where I was.
Yeah.
It was
Your
you,
house.
me, Eric,
Lauren
Chris,
was there.
Lauren. There was somebody else. But yeah, we were in my backyard. I think we were sitting by like the jacuzzi that I had at the time. and we were sitting in the backyard.
You're exactly right.
We were sitting right there, and I think Chris came out of the house, and he goes, "Michael Jackson just died."
I think you're right. I think that's how it matches up in my memory too. Now that you say it,
Like I
but
feel like
everything
he
you're
got a
saying lines
text.
up.
Yeah, I think he got a text or like he had it on his phone, or he found out somehow, and he told us. And I remember just being like, "Oh my God, that's crazy!" Like it wasn't the most shocking thing. I think it was a surprising death, but it wasn't like wild. But
It
I
was
will
crazy,
never,
though.
I will never, I will always forget where I was when I found out about that. But
Yeah, that was crazy.
I was trying to think of like what was happening in his life at the time that that scene with Charlie Sheen where he's like holding him out of the window.
With the nose and everything.
Like if there was something else going on with Michael at the time that would have just like added to the ridiculousness of that scene. But yeah, that was everybody talked about that
Yeah,
when it came out.
yeah, it was crazy. How do you feel about the Wayans brothers not being participant in this film? Obviously, you love it, despite them not running the show. But how do you feel about it?
Well, I guess I'll ask you: did they were involved in some capacity of this movie, but not the end
Initial
result.
pitch, but how far it went? Maybe they were the ones who said, "Oh, we should do Signs and The Ring as our basis." How they kind of do like two main movies or one main movie.
Mhm.
Maybe it's that, but that's about it. Where the other one was a pitch on Star Wars, and it seemed like a general spoof.
Yeah.
So, and it's also the characters that they created, but despite themselves, you have Anna Faris and Regina coming back. So, even though the characters are slightly different, like I said, I appreciate that they bring them back.
Yeah.
That Brenda's
Absolutely.
always coming back, even though she dies. It's kind of, it's nice. It's nice
Yeah.
to have the same people.
I also, I remember writing this down. I don't know if it was after the third or the fourth one. I think it was the fourth one when she's like, Brenda, she's like, Cindy goes up to her. She's like, Brenda, I thought you were dead. She's like, yeah, me too, girl. And then she just like carries
Move
on
on.
with it.
Yeah, it's so good.
That is something that I appreciate about these movies. And I also appreciated about the Scream movies was how meta they are.
Yeah.
Like these movies, I mean, 6, we can talk about it, like how deep that it goes down that rabbit hole. But I think that just having that little, like, yeah, we're not going to touch on this. We know it's a ridiculous thing. We know it's the same characters, even though they died in previous movies. But we're just going to pretend like nothing happened and just keep going with the story. So the characters are the same people and just forget about everything else. Like I appreciate that.
Yeah. What do you feel about Charlie Sheen and Simon Rex as George and Tom Logan? How are their additions? Kind of in some ways replacing the Wayans brothers. You're getting them in the main cast.
Yeah, I like them a lot. I thought that was a good back and forth. I like that they also had them kind of do their own thing while still keeping it in the Signs universe. Like George was able to go off and do the whole 8 Mile thing and do stuff with Sydney, and then Charlie Sheen was still able to do the Sign stuff, but it was kind of like in his own world, still connected to George. So yeah, I like their dynamic. I like the characters. I think that was before the whole Tiger Blood.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah. That was college for us. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
He still had a reputation, but
of course. But it's just funny now in retrospect, knowing like what he was probably doing at that time.
Yes.
So it just adds to the lore of him as a person. But yeah, I like their dynamic a lot, and I also just love Signs. Like that was another like favorite movie.
I like Signs too. I feel like it's aged well.
Yeah,
I would like to talk about that. That'd be a fun one.
We can maybe loop it into Disclosure Day.
We got to see. We'll just do another one for this week. In case we haven't done enough. I just want to call out one more thing about this movie. I love the scene when the sheriff's hat keeps on growing. And that's
another
comedy,
subtle joke that you don't like.
So funny to me. I love that. I really do.
Because it's funny because like Charlie Sheen's just staring at it like, what? Like,
yeah,
not making any mention of it, but just slightly looking at it enough for the audience to kind of be like, that hat's getting bigger, isn't it?
It's really, really, really funny.
It's really good. There was something else that I think this one is maybe not the most blatant, but it's the funniest. they do a lot of fourth wall breaks in this movie. Not so much like directly talking to the camera, but they mentioned about them like being in movies. So I think in one, there's a scene where Sydney and the boyfriend are sitting on the bed, and she's like, "This is real life," and he goes, "No, Sydney, this is a movie." He goes, "There's the cameraman, there's the first AD, there's the boom guy."
Yeah.
So they do that kind of stuff. This in the third one, I think it's my favorite. Sydney's in the newsroom and she's like looking through articles, or she's trying to find information on the house, I think, or the family or the daughter. And right before it cuts to the scene, you hear the foghorn of the ship, and she goes, "Ah!" And she like jumps, and then it immediately cuts to the ship.
So
because
good.
they do that. There's sometimes where it's like you get the sound of the next scene before it cuts in. But like she doesn't hear it because she's in the action. She's like really the ones that hear it. But the fact that she jumped, it's like
so
jump
good.
scare to us. I'm like, that's the kind of stuff that I loved about these.
So
movies.
inventive, yeah.
Yeah. There's like a bunch. There's one. I want to say it's in 4 where she's standing on the balcony and she's like looking over, and the camera does a zoom in and it hits her in the face, and she's like, "Oh, ow!"
So
like.
funny.
Just those, yeah. I'm a big fan of those kinds of jokes.
The series is best when it does a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, you want to do one?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. Scary movie. Well, Scary Movie. 2000.
The original Scary Movie.
The OG. Do you remember when you first saw Scary Movie 1?
I have zero recollection of when the first time I saw it was. It was probably after 2 came out.
Maybe for me too.
It was probably like 2 came out. It was getting some buzz from the older kids that I knew. I was like, "Oh, I guess I got to watch the first one. Otherwise, I'm not going to know what's going on in the second one." Yeah, but I don't really remember the first time I watched it. But I do think that I had seen Scream before I saw it, though, so I understood it a little bit more.
I want to say yes too. I believe, yeah, that seems to make sense to me. I would have seen it probably around the same time I saw 2. I remember the big controversy and hearing about it, like at school, was that there was like a dick in it, that you like saw someone's dick in it. So keep talking about it in this episode, but that was like the big thing. And I remember hearing about like the coach, Miss Mann, which is so ridiculous. It's so funny.
My God. Yes, Miss Mann.
So that
we all have our secrets, Sydney.
Yeah, that was what I heard about a lot. But I don't remember when I saw it, but it would have been bits and pieces. And even when I did this rewatch, I don't know if there was stuff that I hadn't seen, but I probably hadn't seen it in one sitting. I don't know if I really had.
I don't think so either. And I'm trying to remember if this was on like HBO at any point. I feel like they wouldn't. I mean, they probably would have put it on HBO at some point.
Would at some point.
But it was probably one of those situations where I had to sneak it. Same thing with what we're talking about too.
Yeah.
Like you happen to be up late and everybody else is asleep, and you're like, "Oh my God, Scary Movie's on. Let me watch it for a little bit." You hear a creak and you're like, "Okay, shut it off."
Yeah. So, production history on this film. The working title for this film was Last Summer I Screamed Because Halloween Fell on Friday the 13th.
Is that supposed to be like a don't drink your... What's the movie? Don't be a menace in South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
Yeah.
It's like the horror movie version of that.
Kind of is. That's funny. And then they landed on Scary Movie, which was actually the working original title of Scream. So, again, full circle.
Meta.
Very meta. And the bit of controversy that I referred to before, Shawn Wayans and Marlon Wayans wrote this along with their partners at the time, Buddy Johnson and Phil Bowman. They were working with them on this. Buddy Johnson and Phil Bowman are partners. Shawn and Marlon Wayans are partners. They partnered up for this. But Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer, these guys were also working on a similar type of film. Almost similar working title as well. So the Weinsteins bought them both and then paired them, essentially said to the Wayans, you can use what you need to. The Wayans claimed that they didn't really use much of anything, but the WGA, the Writers Guild, gave them co-credit, which always bothered the Wayans at the time. The movie has 52% on Rotten Tomatoes. launched the series, obviously very beloved. At the time was marketed No Shame, No Mercy, No Sequel. And then the Scary Movie 2 tagline a year later was We Lied, which is very funny. $19 million budget, $278 million worldwide gross. So huge at the time, 15-1 return. One of the greatest ratios in comedy film history. Was the highest grossing R-rated movie at the time. Everyone kind of loves Scary Movie for all its flaws.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's a classic. It, like you said, it just kicked off this franchise perfectly. I think it does a great job of paying homage to the Scream movies while still making fun of them at the same time. You know, like they appreciated the cult following that I think Scream had coming off of that movie. So they were like, okay, well, we can make fun of it, but we got to make sure that we're not pissing people off at the same time. You know, I think they did a good job of finding that balance.
Yeah, and was there anything that you caught this time around when you were rewatching it that you didn't remember or that you cracked up at?
The one thing I wrote a note down was the Diddy joke, which came up in a few of them.
Yes. That was crazy. I could not believe that.
I was like, oh,
like it's in this? Yeah. It went that deep. It's crazy.
The Diddy parties, like, okay. I was like, that is just chef's kiss. Like, perfect.
Yeah.
It's one of those things in retrospect, looking back and seeing it, you're like, oh my God, if only they knew. Or maybe they did.
Yeah, that was something.
I think my favorite line or scene in this movie is at the end when they reveal who the killers are. When Ray's like, but wait, there's more. And he's like spitting out of his face.
Yeah.
I die every time that scene comes on.
So good.
Because he's fine though. He's just normal the whole time. They're just talking like, oh, Sydney, we're going to kill you, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, but wait.
So good. So good.
So over the top. Because that's kind of how he was in Scream in retrospect.
Yeah, they do always do that. Yeah. So funny.
Yeah. I love that scene.
I loved rewatching it. I had completely forgotten about the James Van Der Beek cameo. That was cracking me up. It was so funny.
Oh, he comes in through the window. Yes, I did forget about that.
It's so good. It's so good.
Sorry, wrong show, wrong movie.
Yeah, wrong stat or whatever he says. It's so funny, so good.
That was definitely something that I did not get because I didn't watch. Was that One Tree Hill that he was in?
Dawson's Creek.
Oh, Dawson's Creek. See, I didn't watch either of those shows, so I did not get that reference at the time when I was watching.
Oh yeah. That was so good. I mean, I don't even know if I had even originally seen that. You know, I don't even know what I had seen at the time. So that was really funny.
Yeah.
Some other fun stuff. Aaliyah was offered the role of Brenda Meeks, but declined out of respect for Brandy because Brandy had played a role in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which obviously this film mainly parodies I Know What You Did Last Summer. So she didn't want to do it at the time.
Because she thought they were making fun of her, or would be making fun of her friend.
Yeah.
All right, I respect that.
Mm-hmm. Before Carmen Electra was cast, Jenny McCarthy and Melissa Joan Hart auditioned for Drew Decker, the opening role. Anna Faris, this was like her second or third role. She originally was going to move to London and then decided to do LA for a year. And then this kind of came up very quickly for her. So really launched her career as it did. It launched Regina Hall's too. She had done a couple of things, but this is really where her career really took off. Lachlan Monroe, Greg, he plays the cop in Freddy vs. Jason, the guy with the micro penis. Lots scary movie. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Doofy, ridiculous. And I can't believe they brought him back for 6. Ridiculous. I don't even know how much I can really say about it without putting my foot in my mouth. But I love at the end, it's like a Kaiser Soze beat for beat remake from Usual Suspects when he doesn't have like the limp anymore. It's so good. And yeah, I other than Doofy, which I wouldn't say ages poorly because it was obviously just a stretch at the time, but I don't know. Originally, my note was like, I don't know how you get away with Doofy again, and then they do it again. But he was definitely toned down in the number 6. It wasn't as bad as the original. I'll say that.
Oh, I'm wondering if they were kind of his opening scene was him making the kids take like a COVID test.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if the idea was kind of maybe we make him like he had COVID and he had some side effects from it, or like side effects from the vaccine, and that's what makes him that way, versus just
Yeah, I
him
didn't.
being slow or whatever he has.
Yeah. Whatever we're gonna call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Anything else that you remember about the movie, or that you really want to call out? It's such a even in the beginning with Carmen Electra, where she just farts on the phone, is just so funny. And the movie, as you were saying before, moves at absolute. All of these do, but this one moves at lightning speed. I think we're like 3 minutes in, or even less, and the guy on the phone says, "What's your favorite scary movie?" So it just goes, and they throw so much at the wall. The other ones are more scattershot. This one is a little more focused in what it covers, but it still throws so much at you. It's wild. It really is.
And again, I think the short time, like the short runtime of the movie, you kind of have to like get those lines in as quickly as possible. And also, I feel like this was a time before movies had a general idea of when jokes were going to hit a little bit more. Like, I feel like now, especially with some, maybe even like Marvel movies, if they know something like a big scene's going to happen, or that's going to get like an audience applause or laugh, they'll give a little bit of space. Like the actor kind of like say the line, and then they're like, this movie, they're like, nope, we're just joke after joke, keep it rolling, keep it moving on to the next thing. Because they didn't know what was going to hit or what wasn't. They either everything's going to hit or nothing's going to hit. But I think it was just kind of like, do the joke, on to the next one. Let's keep the pace moving.
Yeah, totally. I also love the "What's Up" sequence, the Budweiser ad.
Amazing.
Talk about things you forgot and advertisements. They do an ad in this one, and they do an ad in 2, which is interesting. But that was that, and there are certain things that it partially dates it, but also, they have a Prince reference in this one. A lot of stuff that's just old and not in the zeitgeist anymore, but at the time was just huge. Even Blair Witch kind of faded away. They have that whole sequence at the end of Blair Witch, which we get that reference, and maybe someone younger might really not get it.
I feel like it's interesting you say the Blair Witch in particular. I feel like that movie, for as big of a recognition that it got at the time that it came out, it hasn't really
Doesn't have the staying power.
Yeah, which is so interesting because it is still horrifying. I think it was more horrifying at the time because people had video cameras, but now it's everybody has one in their pocket at all times. So everyone's taking videos pretty regularly of everyday life all the time.
Right.
Whereas back then, the way that they were doing it and what they were using it for was kind of very niche and very specific. And I don't think a lot of people had seen anything like that at the time. So I think that's why it was so like renowned as one of the scariest movies ever, which honestly it was. I remember I watched that like during the day. It was like
scary.
1:00 in the afternoon, and I was shaking. I was so scared. But
I couldn't even talk about it. It was so scary.
Oh my God. Horrifying. Especially because like I live in the woods basically. So it's right there for me.
As kids, I remember hearing it was like it was like real. Everyone thought it was just real. It was real.
Well, didn't it say like based off of a true-ish story or something?
Yeah, they lied. Yeah.
But at the time, that wasn't a thing that people didn't think was fake or not. They were like, "Oh,
it's so funny."
So somebody actually did this. But yes, I think that somebody younger watching these movies now, specifically watching one, probably wouldn't realize that this is a Blair Witch Project reference. But the "was up" thing, that is by far, I don't think that Budweiser would have done as well with that ad campaign had it not been for this movie.
It was so good.
It just took it to a whole nother level.
Yes.
It still comes up to that. You want to talk about staying power? That still comes up today.
Yeah.
Like you'll randomly hear somebody who's like, "What that?" And you're like, "Oh."
So funny.
Yeah.
The glory hole ear. Forgot about that. That's absurd.
Ridiculous.
But that when I was a kid, that was like something crazy.
Yeah.
Cindy constantly just getting beaten up throughout the movie, which now I realize is more like a reference to, again, like abusive women in horror movies. I think is the depth there. Went over my head at 10. Sorry, but Yeah, there's a lot to this movie. It's partially slightly deep, but it filled with cultural moments, filled with nostalgia, and just hilarious. You can't get through without laughing at least at something. Something you'll find here.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a funny movie at the end of the day. Like there are just like there's so many scenes. Even just talking about it, like I just watched it, but like there's other things that just keep popping into my head that I'm like, oh, that was hilarious too. Like the scene where she's at the talent show.
Yeah.
And she goes up and she's like, and for my talent portion, whatever the thing is, she's like, for my talent portion, I'm going to do a dramatic reading. And then she sees her boyfriend on the balcony is getting killed. She goes, somebody help him. And everyone's like, oh, she's doing a really good job. Like,
yeah.
That's such
really
a funny, that's such a smart joke. It's like,
so good.
What is she going to do? A dramatic interpretation. And then she just is actually freaking out.
I'm surprised how close they held it on the rewatch to Scream. And I know you did last summer. They kind of weave them together, but really Scream, even like the intro is exactly the same, the title card, all of it.
Yeah.
Really, really.
And to that point of doing two movies, they weave them in very well.
Yeah, they do. It
like
works.
There was some points where I was like, I didn't realize, or I was like, was that in Scream? Because I hadn't seen I Know What You Did Last Summer in a while. So, but it still played very well, and it still flowed into each other very, very well. Where I didn't feel like maybe in 3 or in 4, there's some scenes where it's just like hard cut to the other movie or another movie or something completely random too.
5 especially is so bad with that. Doesn't even work at all.
Nope.
All right. You want to go on to another one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Want to do 6?
Yeah, let's do it. Freshen our minds. Hopefully.
Scary Movie 6. So spoiler alert for everything here. And we already gave you this, but we saw this one together. Dixon,
Heyo.
What was your experience with Scary Movie?
It was fun. I think we saw this together. I think we had the most fun out of everybody in the theater.
Yeah.
I think we were enjoying ourselves the most out of everyone. But yeah, I like this movie. I thought it was almost exactly what I was expecting. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm glad that they stuck with their tried and true, fast paced, throw a bunch of jokes at you, hit a lot of different movies, kind of, run through the way that they had done it in 1 and maybe probably closer to 2. And it was enjoyable. Like it was, they hit on the movies that I wanted them to hit on. And yeah, it was fun. It ended kind of abruptly, I think. Like I think that it was just they had their scene, their little, very meta scene, which I enjoyed. But then it was just kind of like, all right, that's the end of the movie. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye. But it was fun. It was a fun time going to see a new scary movie. I think I guess all 4 of the main cast that came back, for me, they definitely seemed a little older, which they played into, but it definitely showed
a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed with this one. I expected it to be smarter, not in the way that the jokes have to be much smarter, but a couple of things. Scream. I love that. That was watch our Scream episode, our Scream rankings, but Scream 5 I think was my number 2. So I really love that movie, but it's not the same cultural touchstone that Scream 1 is. So it's quite a move to tie it so heavily to Scream 5 when we're in the A24 era. Talk about Backrooms, talk about Obsession, talk about Hereditary, Lighthouse, Talk to Me, Weapons, which they did, but The Witch, right? There's so much, there's a big place to pull from, and they kind of just mine from the same well. They go back to Scream. So they did not need to base it the same way. And even they do what Scream does, Scream is already meta, as we discussed. Scream 5 is especially meta in that way with the reboot. And, Marlon Wayne calls this a rebooquel, whatever it is. But ultimately, I think that's what this movie's best when it's self-referential and you're talking about it with the ending. And I love the ending when they're like, "You did Scary Movie 3 and 4 without us," and all that stuff. The movie's so funny. And when Shaq shows up with Anthony Anderson, they talk about Kevin Hart, Dr. Phil got weird. All that is hysterical. So, so, so good. And that's when the movie is really flowing. And when it's respecting its characters, even Scary Movie needs to respect its characters. It falls apart in the other pieces. I have highlights. I can just mention it now. The K-pop Demon Hunters scene, a highlight. That was so good. So
that
funny.
was great.
Really love that. The Substance scene was amazing. I love that. And when the Epstein files come out, it's just hysterical. So funny. Talk about cultural references. You watch Scary Movie 6 in 10 years, and you're like, wow, that was the conversation. So it was overall fun to see everyone back and having a good time. You get most of your cast back besides the people we mentioned, the Wayans brothers, Regina Hall, Anna Faris. You get John Abrams returning as Bobby Prince, Sherry O'Terry as Gail Hailstorm, Dave Sheridan as Doofy, Chris Elliott is back, Lachlan Monroe is back as Greg, Anthony E. Anderson, I already mentioned him, as himself, but also as Mahalik, whatever you want to kind of say. Kenan Thompson comes back as like a version, or not comes back, but Michael Jackson comes back kind of as a different version. You have more Wayans family members all kind of jumping in there. They even had so many characters they didn't bring back Shannon and Elizabeth from the original because the movie was so stacked. But yeah, it's fun to see everyone kind of playing in there. And I don't want to say that they don't cover stuff, but it's just scatterbombed that they cover really like recent horror and just random stuff. They do a little bit of Halloween 2018 where Cindy's kind of the recluse. They do Smile, which that was fun. They get that in there to get Megan in a good way. Like I said, The Substance, they do Weapons very quickly. They do Terrifier. They do Michael Jackson biopic. That's all fun, but all very, very brief. They do Sinners, all kind of quick. And I don't mind that. I guess I just don't like the anchor. I don't like the anchor being Scream as much as anything else. And Michael Tids. I can't call him Michael Titties. So let's go back.
I mean,
jeez,
that was great.
Michael Tids directed, the same person who did Haunted House. So he collaborated with the Wayans brothers, and the Wayans brothers being back, kind of reclaiming their series after the Weinsteins are gone, and they are seizing this opportunity to kind of come back to the series. This is great. You get Marlon, Sean, Keenan Ivory all coming back to really work on this as screenwriters and producers, first time in 23 years. And I love that they reference all that. And Marlon Wayans even said that his father inspired them to work together and come back to work on this. So it has like a nice story. It's nice to see them kind of end game it all and bring back everyone that they can in this scary movie comeback. But yeah, I just think that I expected a little more. I didn't expect to laugh at everything. You never do. Not everything has to land, especially when they're throwing 3,000 things at you. But you guys could have done slightly more.
I agree with that. I think I was expecting maybe a little bit of a more elevated comedy.
Yeah. Just slightly.
But at the end of the day, it's people are going to go see a scary movie. They want to see Shorty going like, like that's what a lot of the people that are going to those movies want out of them. So you got to kind of play into your audience a little bit.
Do you think Shorty still works? I haven't known about that.
The character?
Yeah.
I think the way that they utilized him in this movie works. I think if they're going to do another one, they might need to switch it up a little bit.
I have no problem with the character growing.
Yeah.
Doing more with him. Like, no, I quit weed. I'm normal now.
Something like that.
Do something else. Why not?
Yeah.
Just have a little fun with it. Why not?
But I think they used him well enough in this movie to keep it still, like, keep him still his own character, like still like the Shorty pothead character, but having him in these like kind of maybe a couple different situations. So the Kai Cenat thing with the streamers, like
Yeah.
that was funny. That's not something that is probably for me. It's probably for a little bit of a younger audience too. But I think it works. Like he would do something like that,
Mhm.
Like it would make sense that he would be a millionaire for some ridiculous reason that he wouldn't have been able to do when Scary Movie 1 came out,
Right.
And the other, what was the other thing? Oh, they use him in like the Get Out sequence.
That was good. That
Was really good.
That was good.
So they found ways to utilize him without it just being like, oh, he's just going to be like the stoner, pothead that's just running around doing dumb shit the whole time. Like he's actually there's a purpose for him to be there and for him to do the things that he did. So
Yeah,
I think it worked for this one, but yeah, they definitely, if they're going to do another one, they need to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, that was one of my only things. I like the Anna Faris, Regina Hall characters are fine. The Ray is gay stuff is fine to continue, and I thought that worked well with Sinners. But yeah, the Shawty stuff, I just
what do you
felt
mean
like I
half
needed a
gay?
little more. Yeah, that was funny. That was all funny. Those gags kind of worked for me, so I enjoyed that.
The weapons one was my favorite when she's like, "Oh, I gave the candy to the kids," and they all just run out of the house.
It's really funny. Yeah, and that's classic Wayans Brothers humor. That was good.
That was a great use of utilizing something that was famous from the movie Weapons and making it funny.
Yeah,
I gave the drugs to the kids.
Yeah. I mean, people are clearly liking this. 71% audience score. Critics, again, mixed, but 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I was hoping for higher, but again, I was hoping for a more elevated Scary Movie a little bit. And I thought, again, missed opportunity. But 26 and 71, that's about where I think
that audience score, I think, is the highest out of all of them.
Definitely.
Everything is like in the 40s and the 50s. So I think, yeah, it might be the highest one.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
You feel good about it? You want to go on to the next one?
Yeah. Let's keep it going. We're moving and grooving just like the Scary Movies, baby.
Just like the movies. All right. 2 left. Cream of the crop. You had this one higher than I did. So, Scary Movie 4. Memories and why you liked it better than 6.
I remember watching it not in theaters. I definitely watched it on HBO when it came out on HBO. And I remember, I remember being a big fan of a lot of the movies that were referenced in it, like War of the Worlds. I loved War of the Worlds when it came out.
Oh, I love that film.
I really appreciated the jokes related to that movie that they did in this Scary Movie. And I was fine with the lead actor in 4. I can't recall his name. The guy that played the Tom Cruise character.
Greg Bierko.
Yeah. I liked him. I think he was a fine enough fill-in for Charlie Sheen or his brother. Charlie Sheen.
Simon Rex. So.
Yeah. I feel like he was a good fill-in for him. But yeah, I enjoyed the War of the Worlds references, and I think it was just one of those ones too that was on a lot, so I watched it a decent amount. But yeah, it was not. I didn't enjoy the rest of it as much as I did 1, 2, and 3 collectively, but the War of the World stuff really got to me. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at.
See, it's funny that you like that because I thought that was the crutch of the movie. I guess a similar problem to 6, but I thought they should have picked something else. The aliens aspect felt too similar to 3 for me. It was kind of the same joke, and they do similar ring stuff. The Japanese kid, which is my favorite sequence of the movie. It kills me every time. It's one of those clips that I rewatch. I'll just like YouTube it. So it cracks me up. But ultimately, it was ground that they kind of, I feel like that could have been mixed into the previous one. And maybe they kind of just threw it in here. So there were just things about this one, even though it's very tied to the previous one. You know, you get most of your returning cast back. Even Leslie Nielsen's back. Kevin Hart and Anthony Anderson, Carmen Electra, Bill Pullman, Chris Elliott is back in the Village sequence as a new character, but he's back with Carmen Electra. And then you get, again, Shaq and Dr. Phil in that opening Saw sequence. But that's what I think. I think that Saw should have been more of a tie to this film than War of the Worlds. I think that is what hurt it for me more so than anything else. I wanted the tie to be better. And I wish that Simon Rex they had like, I guess it was The Fighter or some sort of spoof they had with that scene, but I don't like the Tom Cruise character, Tom Ryan. I think it could have just, it could have just been Simon Rex. Come on.
$1 Million Baby.
Oh, right. It was $1 Million Baby. That's right. That's right.
I was like, fighter? What is he talking about? Yeah, $1 Million Baby. You know what? I agree. I don't know how you could have done it with Saw though. You know, like War of the Worlds, at least there was like different locations and like there's different they're interacting with a bunch of different characters, so you could bring in different actors and stuff. With Saw, it's kind of like they're in a room and they're trying to get out of the room.
Saw 2, they're in a house, moving around. There's like 8 characters. And they do a little bit of Saw at the end. They do it in the beginning and they do it at the end. But they have Tom getting tortured. They give him the purple nurple and the wet willy. That is hilarious. I was cracking up because it's so stupid.
Scary
War of the
movie.
Worlds is dour, and they're all dour. You know, Saw, talk about dour. But I just felt like there was more to mine from Saw than necessarily from War of the Worlds.
They could have probably, I don't know when the Saw movies were released, but they probably could have, if there were multiples of them, they could have dove into a few of that. If
I think you had 3, at least 3 of them by then. I think it was like 2001, 2002, and maybe 2003 or 4, something like that.
So you could have the beginning of the movie be in one room and then they move into a house, or like they get out, they go do some shit. So you can have other references to other movies, and then they get caught and they're back in like the mansion or the haunted house for the next one, and then they're in some other place, whether the third ones. So you could have done that if you wanted to stick with the Saws, but maybe War of the Worlds was a little bit bigger at the time, so that's why they leaned into it.
Yeah.
Also, I'm shook that they got James Earl Jones to do the narration at the beginning and the end of this movie.
Do you know about the very end scene after that? He gets hit by a car in like a 30-second scene. Yeah, it's so good. So good.
Just the fact that they were able to convince him to do that. Like if it was just the narration, be like, all right, just got to go to a studio, record some lines, done. But he actually filmed. I mean, that was clearly a green screen.
Right. Yeah, of course.
He was on. So they probably made it as convenient for him to do it as possible. But just the fact that he's in the movies is shocking to me.
I also love like the president with the 9/11 Bush moment is so good and bold for 2006. It's really bold, but that was really good. I was cracking up.
He's like, I really want to know what's going on with this.
It's really, really funny. Really good. I mean, people like this movie. It has a 34% on Rotten Tomatoes. So pretty even with the previous one, and same team. David Zucker came back. Craig Mazin came back again too. So, you know, you have the same vibes as 3 and Airplane and all the other spoofs. But it seems like it was just running out of a little bit of gas by this point. You could kind of tell that the rewards were not the same at this point.
It's funny too. I think rewatching this one, it hit me a little bit more. I feel like horror movies in general were a little more culturally relevant at the times when these movies came out, at least getting up until 4. I feel like it's now starting to get back to a place where people like really know and are showing up to go see horror movies more regularly. Yeah. Like within the past like 10, 15 years, not so much. Like maybe there was one movie here or there that would be big, or
it was like Conjuring or a couple of Babadook.
Yeah.
It didn't have the staying power.
Or you would get something like a reboot, like what did we see? Halloween.
Oh yeah, I love Halloween.
That was great, but it was a reboot of the Halloween movies.
Yeah.
So, but now I think we're getting back into that point. It's funny, like if this came out next year or like in 2 years, they would have had a lot more material to go off, which they did have a decent amount to go off of for 6, but they might have had a little bit more too. But it was just funny to see like what they were spoofing. So like Saw and The Grudge. The Grudge was huge when it came out.
Oh yeah, The Grudge. Right.
It just felt like watching those movies, I was kind of like, oh, horror movies were big back in the day. Like everybody saw them at some point, even if it wasn't in theaters. Like you still went to go see them. So it was just like we kind of said before, they were like time capsules for what was going on in the world, and it's just funny that that horror movies were as big as they were back then, and they weren't for a bit, but now we're on the upswing.
It's funny you mentioned The Grudge. I saw that in a packed theater at like 15 years old. Packed.
Really?
Yeah, like a Friday night.
That movie scared the shit out of me.
There's that whole Time of the Ring, Grudge, all that is crazy. Yeah,
Like I'm freaking out myself just doing it.
A little chill. And you were talking about the horror movies. You know, the 2010s had like, it was like Insidious, The Conjuring, and we'll get to 5 in a minute. You know, but 5, Paranormal Activity.
Yeah,
all that. So that there was just a little bit of a different time.
yeah, definitely.
I don't have too much else to say about 4. You got anything else? I like it. I just don't. It's not on the same level as any of the other ones for me.
Yeah, agreed. There are some funny jokes. We were just talking about The Grudge. I think that one line where she's talking to the kid, and
so good.
It's all subtitles, but they're just saying like Japanese companies like Mitsubishi, Mazda.
It's so funny
because it's, if you don't realize it at first, you're either just looking at the subtitles and then you go back and you listen to everything she says and you're like, oh my God, they're all just Japanese companies. Mm-hmm. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's the highlight.
I think that is the highlight of the movie for me too.
All right. Bottom of the barrel. Scary movie franchise, which has got to be rough if you're at the last one here. So 2013's Scary Movie 5 holding a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. I guess that slightly beats Annihilation, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, but I think this is probably going to be the worst movie at this moment. We're not going to do a whole episode on this, thank God, but I think Scary Movie 5 is the worst movie we have talked about in our episode so far. Maybe for quite a while we'll talk about on this show.
I hope so.
Scary Movie 5. I never saw this one until this rewatch. You?
Same. Yeah. First time I watched it was last week.
Yeah, not a frame.
Yeah. This was there's not too much. The 4% is right where I would expect this rating to be for this movie. There's not too much to really go off of, unfortunately.
I mean, the director himself, Malcolm D. Lee, said on the record, it was just a bad movie. Believe me, don't bother going to see that movie or renting it or anything. It's not worth your time. So
I'm just going to go on a little bit of a tangent here for a second.
Please.
I think that saying something like that as a director or on anything that you are a part of that you put out is the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
Because I would not trust somebody that says that about anything they work on. You can understand that maybe audience didn't appreciate it or you tried something and it didn't work out. But like you put the effort in on a movie and you're going to turn, and then eventually you're going to go, when it doesn't do well, you're just going to go like, that was shit. If that movie made $300 million, would it be saying that? Nope. Absolutely
Maybe
not.
it was stolen, from the studio and you ripped it out as its soul. Scary Movie 5.
Do we know that's what happened? If that's what happened, then sure.
It's such a strange choice. You lose Anna Faris and you lose Regina Hall. So you lose Cindy and Brenda. And you have Simon Rex in the movie, so you can continue that lineage and keep a character that people liked and that was received pretty well. But instead you decide to make this weird spin-off with one of the same characters, and you keep Charlie Sheen in there too, and other people in the mix, Molly Shannon, but you just kind of weird Scary Movie spin-off, spoof Paranormal Activity mainly, but it's just a weird choice. Obviously the movie suffers. You could have at least continued that. And it's interesting, we were talking about this before, around the same time Haunted House was getting made by the Wayans Brothers. The Weinsteins tried to buy Haunted House and shelve it and steal the ideas for Scary Movie 5, which is so cynical and evil. They're just the worst. But so that was rejected by Marlon Wayans, and they essentially competed in the same space, which is very interesting. So
that's so funny.
It's wild. Yeah. Rough movie. Rough.
Yeah.
The cast is rough. I'd never seen the Paranormal Activities, so I didn't have any investment in that at all.
Oh, really?
None. I know what they're about. And, and there are other movies, Black Swan, Mama, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which I thought was done awfully. Talk about interweaving things properly. Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. It's a good idea to do that as a spoof, but there's so much to do with the apes, and seeing that original series, you could do so much. It's so funny, but the only thing I liked probably was the Inception gag. I thought the guy who played Cobb was really funny.
Perfect casting.
Yeah, that was good.
He was just Leo enough without being Leo.
Yeah,
you were like,
it's-
I know who you are. You don't have to explain it. I know exactly who you are.
It was really good. Just bad Leo. I like that. That was funny.
Yeah, he that whole scene was great. And that was absolutely the highlight of the movie. was that one part, and everything else was just a little rough.
Yeah, was there anything you liked that you can remember? Snoop Dogg, Mac Miller.
I actually did really like that opening scene. Yes. When Mac is like, you mean like the cabin in the woods? He goes, no, it was like some other place. Like we were maybe like near a river. And he was like, but was it by a cabin in the woods? They just kept going back and forth the whole time. I did think that opening scene was actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
But again, not much else to go off of after that.
I mean, it's clearly the worst. And I mean, even at runtime of 86 minutes, it feels long for a scary movie. I was like ready, kept checking the time. Like, is this done? And I can confidently say, I'll never go back and watch this. I could rewatch 1 through 3 easily. Maybe 4, maybe. But I could easily rewatch the first 3. This one, never. 1 is 88 minutes. 2 is 82 minutes. 3 is 84 minutes. 4 is 83 minutes. And this is 86. So come on. The new one, I think, is the longest. 6, but this one feels the longest.
Which is fine. Yeah. I mean, but I wonder, did they have some kind of like weird thing with being in the 80-minute mark? Like, is there some reason
like
why?
Tight. With credits, they're like shorter than Toy Story.
Oh, that's amazing. Which is great, because if you want something quick and funny to watch, throw in a scary movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really not, I really don't know what else I can say about this movie. It's just, the Inception scene was great. I will say, as somebody that did see the Paranormal Activities, they hit on all of the ridiculous things that happen in the Paranormals, but not in a way that really made them funnier or made them, absurdly ridiculous to the point of it being funny, from like what happened in them in those movies. So yeah, 4 makes sense.
You ready to get to closing arguments?
Yeah, let's do it.
You woke up dead.
How the hell do you wake up dead?
Because you're alive when you go to sleep.
Big picture question. Is Scary Movie misunderstood by the critics? Should they be looking at it with a less critical eye? Or should we expect more from our spoof movies?
I think that the critics will critic no matter what movie it is. I think that there's
anything's going to get critiqued. Yeah,
everything's going to get critiqued, and I feel like no matter what, it could be the greatest movie of all time. There's still going to be somebody out there that has something to say about it, or something, to pull say like, oh well, they could have done this better, they could have done that better. So it could be like the people just wanting to like dogpile on these. If it's bad, it's like, well, now I have to be the most cynical about them and say the most ridiculously bad things, so that way my review kind of gets brought to the top. And people can say like, oh, look at what this person said about it. So I think, yes, they can be a little bit harsher on, or they can be a little too harsh on these movies, where at the end of the day, they're just funny, dumb comedies for people to get a laugh. So yeah, they can definitely be a little too tough. And there's always, it's very rare, I feel like, the audience reviews and the audience scores are equal to the critic scores. This happened in a few of these cases, like the popcorn meter was pretty close, but overall there's a pretty big disparity between the two, and I feel like that's definitely unwarranted for the casualness of these movies. Like, I don't think they need to be taking it seriously.
Yeah, I agree with that. Do you think there is a film in this franchise that is genuinely good? Like, that's a good movie?
I mean, I think we would both say our favorites are genuinely good. I think 3, the production value went up.
It did, yeah.
From 1 and 2. Like, I think that they were shooting, like 1 and 2, maybe just because of the timing that they came out, and like looking back on it now, it does seem a little bit older than 3 does. 3 just seemed like they had a little bit more of a budget, a little bit more
cleaner looking.
Yeah. So I think that one to me feels the best quality wise, the most like a movie and not just a spoof on other movies.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a preference of the Wayans era or the Zucker era? 1 and 2 versus 3 and 4, and now we have 6 in the mix.
And we're not even including 5.
No, I'm not. It's just an ugly stepchild. It has no ownership.
I probably lean 3 and 4.
Like the absurdist, more broad.
Yeah, I think I've definitely watched those more, so I'm more familiar with them. So maybe that's why I'm leaning into it. But I think I just enjoy them a little bit more. I feel like I would go back and watch them over 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy 1 and 2. I just need to be in like a very specific mood to watch those.
Yeah. I'm like split.
Yeah,
they're
pretty close to me too.
If this were to continue, Marlon Wayans' character, Shawty, says like a sequel reference.
Mm.
Where does Scary Movie 7 go?
Well, I mean, now they kind of have to do a movie set in the back rooms, right?
Oh my God.
That would be perfect because there's
That would
so
be
many
good.
possibilities. You could do whatever
that could
you
be so
want.
funny. That could be the opening doors and it's like the craziest shit. That'd be so funny.
Wild places and just different scenarios. And it could be whatever they want. And you could make it like, this is how they do it. You do the back rooms and then you go into other rooms and there are other movies and there are other worlds within other horror movies. So you can do like a world on Inception or Obsession. You could do a world on, didn't they have some reference to like Nosferatu?
Oh, did they? I can't
think
remember now.
I missed it or I read about it somewhere. But yeah, you could do like, I'm sure there's going to be a ton of other horror movies that come out that are going to be hits now that they can go back and throw in. But like that could be the base movie that you go off of, but you could use it to get into other movies. So
Yeah.
I think like we were saying before, Shawty needs to maybe grow up or change a little bit. He can still be a pothead, but maybe he could be, a little bit more
Something
refined.
Yeah.
A little bit more refined. Or just different. Just change him up a little bit. And I kind of would like to go back to Cindy and Brenda almost being like a buddy cop duo.
Mm.
I'd rather have them. It seemed like they were a little bit on like opposite ends in 6.
Yeah.
And I would like to see them back together, like solving the mystery or doing just being together for the movie and like working together a little bit more.
That could be fun.
That's another thing that I liked about 3 was their dynamic together and like when they weren't really that in that many scenes together because she like sees her at the school and then they go to the rap battle and then they go back to her house and then she gets killed by the woman. So she's not really in that much, but I do enjoy when they're on screen and working together. So I would like to see that in a possible Scary Movie 7.
Yeah, that could be fun. I like that. Hey, I mean, the main cast is all there, and I'm glad they got rid of the reboot characters because they didn't really work too well for me anyway. So let's keep it where it is. I like that.
Yeah. It's also, it'll depend on if there's another Scream movie.
Partially, yeah, because they love tying it to that.
Yeah.
All right. I think that is a wrap on our Scary Movie look back, rewatch, and spoiler-filled review of Scream 6. So, in our future episodes, stick with us because we are sticking with horror. We're going to be looking at Backrooms and Obsession, our newest summer hits. A lot of people didn't see coming. And then we're going to be sticking with our tent poles too. Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day, Toy Story 5, which we keep hyping up, and we're going to do DC's Supergirl, all before our Odyssey binge leading up to Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. It's a big summer, lots to cover. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing again, helping us build this thing. And the movie may be over, but the marathon always continues. Peace.
Peace.